All right, so these are some stretches and exercises you can do for your wrist. So to begin with, we've got this one, arm is straight. You're just pulling back a little bit. Then to get the other side, you just push here. So that's a stretch for your extensors at top and your flexors on the bottom. Another way you can get flexors, I like this one. I have my hands, I'm out on a kitchen countertop, and you can just kind of put your weight up and over, and you'll feel a little bit of a stretch. Ideally, you want to hold for a minute. If a minute is too much, you can break it into 10-second increments. So you might do 6 sets and hold the stretch for 10 seconds. All the stretches should be at moderate discomfort, nothing super painful. So those are some stretches. As far as activities go, if there's a lot of pain, or if you're just beginning, this is how I'd recommend stuff just to be safe. We can start with just a towel squeeze. This is just a t-shirt. I'm gonna grab it and I'm gonna just squeeze. Squeeze at whatever you can squeeze at in terms of how hard you're squeezing. You know, ideally, you wanna try at least like 50% effort here. And you're gonna hold this for 10 seconds. Relax, give yourself a little break, rest is needed. And I'd say try to do something like 5 sets, 10-second holds. You can also do the other side, just so things are balanced. Now, you can move into some other motions. So you can just use your hand to help you with this one. So I'm gonna try to lift this hand up like this. My knuckles are gonna go up to the roof, but I'm gonna use this hand to resist. So for the rest of these exercises, I'm gonna be using my tattooed arm, my right hand, to resist. This is the hand that's doing the work. So I'm gonna try to lift up like this, but I'm gonna resist here. And same thing, I wanna hold this for about 10 seconds. Now we can do the opposite, where I'm gonna be pushing down. So this is my resistance hand. So I'm trying to push down, hold 10 seconds. Same sort of deal, 5 sets of 10. Then I'm on my pinky side. I'm trying to go like this. This is my resistance. Push into it, at least like 50% of your effort, 50 to 75 ideally would be great. Whatever you can tolerate. Then now towards my thumb side, I'm trying to do this, hold, push. Okay, so that's extension, flexion, ulnar deviation, radial deviation. Your wrist also does this. So we got supination, pronation. We can do the same exact thing. So if I want to try to lift my palm up, I'm going to resist on my knuckle side. So I'm pushing down like this, but I'm trying to turn my palm. So you kind of see. 10 seconds, same deal. If it's painful here, you can always try something like this. You can start in a different position, whatever is pain-free to begin with. Or you can even start here, or here, whatever works. Now we're going to do the opposite. So I'm trying to turn my palm down. So resisting here. So same thing there. Now, if you're able to handle that, you do that for like, let's say 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks, whatever, and you feel like your wrist is feeling better, there's not very much pain, you can start adding in some weights. If you want to do stuff weighted, you only need maybe 5 pounds for this sort of stuff. Like maybe. This is an elastic band. This is like 10 pounds max when it's fully stretched. So what you're going to do is, my thumb's pointing up, I'm pulling down. You're going to do this, right? So motions here at your wrist. I'm not taking my elbow and doing this. It's just tiny little motion here. So that's radial deviation, and we're going to hold it up. So the resistance is pulling me up. I'm going to go down. This is ulnar deviation. So now if you're off to the side here, you can do the same thing, but with going into your palms up, your supination position. So I'm holding out here. My thumb's on this side. I'm going to rotate like this. Palm up. Palm up. Now, let's see here. I'm getting a little confused here. So palm up, palm up. So now, if I want to do knuckles up, I'm starting with my palm up, my arms crossed over. Knuckles up. Back nice and slow. Easy. That cracking is actually my wrist, if you hear that. So, that would be a little more advanced stuff. You can also try wrapping a hair tie. You know, let's say this is my hair tie, and I'm putting it around my fingers. You're just going to open up like this. I also like an exercise where you take your hand in a bucket of rice or maybe sand, whatever. You can do it at the beach if you have some sand. You know, put a little water, my hands in the bucket, and you're just going to open, close, and you can do this motion like you're stirring. Use to the right, to the left. Do everything within what you can tolerate. Another way you can do some stuff, like I said, you can do stuff with a weight, or a good thing is something that's a little long. This is a rolling pin. Since it's longer, it's going to be more difficult because the weight is further away from this axis of rotation. So you can do the same thing where you're coming back like this, and coming here, coming back, and here. Then do the opposite, right? You're going to go this way, palm up. Start with your knuckles up, palm up. So you can do that. If you did it with something like a can of beans where the weight was central to where your arm is, this is not going to be very difficult. That's why with the band, you can kind of get that same exact feel. But I hope those things help. Remember, for the isometrics where you're holding it, you want to hold for 10 seconds, do something like 5 sets of 10. When you get into using the band and resistance, I'd say start with something like maybe 2 sets of 12 to 15, depending on how you're feeling. Over time, you can add some reps or you can add a set. So let's say you start with 2 sets of 12 reps. Maybe the next week, add 1 to 2 reps, add 1 to 2 reps. You might be at 15, and then see if you can get to 20 following the same thing. Or if you want, you can just add another set. You can play around with it as far as that stuff goes. I generally like higher reps and a little more volume with lighter weight. I wouldn't do that sort of stuff with anything more than 10 pounds, maybe 10. These muscles are really small. They're not really great at moving large loads just by themselves. Hopefully that helps. Feel free to reach out if you have any questions.